Hi everyone, I'm Helene, and in this video I will be analyzing the board game Love Letter by artist C.G. Kanai. In this game, 2 to 6 players assume the roles of romantic suitors, attempting to win the affections of the princess who is holding out for the ideal partner. The object of the game is to pass secret love letters to the princess through the various characters in the story, while blocking the love letters of other suitors and defending against their attacks. First, players are each given a reference card with details about the game's characters. Then, the deck of 21 character cards is shuffled, and 1 card is dealt to each player and 1 card is reserved face down. The rest of the cards are left in a stack for drawing. Lastly, 13 favor tokens are stacked in the center of the play area. Love Letter is played in rounds. The winner of each round earns a favor token. Depending on the number of players in the game, suitors will race to earn the winning number of tokens first to win the game. Each player is dealt 1 card, which represents the character who is in possession of that player's love letter. Character cards have very different effects, like immunity, spying, and knocking out an opponent. A player's turn begins by drawing a character card from the deck. The player then chooses one of the 2 cards in their hand to play. Their turn ends after the card's effect has been resolved. There are 2 ways to win a round. A player can win the round and a favor token by eliminating the other players before the cards run out. The second way to win is that the cards run out. When this happens, the player holding the highest valued card wins the round and a favor token. It's important to note players can tie and each win a favor token. The winner of the game is the player who earns the required number of favor tokens first. To win a 6-player game, the winner needs to earn 3 favor tokens. If only 2 people are playing, the winner needs to earn 6 tokens. There are many different ways to evaluate a game, but I look at 2 things. The integration of elements, meaning how well the themes and motifs are integrated into the game mechanics, and storytelling, specifically characters, flow, and the climax. If it's a story-driven game, I want to feel the same way I feel after watching a movie, like I've been on a journey. I especially love it when the gameplay has a big impact on the direction of the story. If I'm playing a story-driven game, I'm going in with the expectation that there's going to be a climax. Let's look at other criteria for evaluating a game. In the book, Understanding Video Games, The Essential Introduction, the relationship between a game and its rules is described as one and the same. A game is its rules. They are the element that sets games apart from linear media such as novels or movies. There are 3 basic types of game rules to consider. Rules that cover the basic aspects of the game state, rules that define which outcomes are considered positive and negative, and rules that determine what information the player receives about the game state during gameplay. Game balance is an indicator of good design. It's achieved when a desirable combination of skill and luck determine the gameplay and the outcome of the game. Game balance can be analyzed by looking at the dynamics that exist inside the game, as well as player-to-player dynamics, usually meaning how much skill players can bring to the game. Gameplay is how the game feels when you play it. It's a consequence of both rules and balance because the rules establish the game dynamics, and the attention paid to a well-balanced game will directly impact how it feels. Is the game fast-paced or slow? Is it strategic? Are there surprises? Now let's analyze Love Letter based on the criteria that was just outlined. Love Letter integrates some elements well, like the characters, which are really bold and their effects are dynamic. They keep the game interesting. But there is a major flaw in the game's design, especially with how the story integrates with the mechanics of the game. In the instructions, it's casually slipped in, more than 1 player can win the game. What? The story is about a princess trying to find her perfect partner. How does the story play out if multiple suitors win? Did they even have thruples in the 1400s? This isn't even addressed anywhere in the game. This design flaw is a major issue for me. I just can't take the game seriously. For my first criteria, integration of elements, I give the game 2.5 love letters. Looking at my second criteria, storytelling, I think Love Letter falls short again. The characters carry the story and continue to be the best part of the game, but there isn't a lot of effort made to fill out the princess's character. Also, the ending of the game is anticlimactic. You play several rounds, then it's over. At best, you knock out a competitor in the winning round, but it's also possible that the deck runs out and you just happen to win. I'll give the game 3 love letters for having well-developed characters that impact the story throughout gameplay. Let's look at rules. The instructions are presented well. They are succinct and organized so you can quickly look up specifics. They're illustrated to assist in driving the story. Players are also given a reference card, so some information is on demand. But the best part of the instruction design is that the characters' effects are taught just in time inside the situational context, meaning that information is presented within the context in which it's relevant. So I'm giving high marks for rules, 4 love letters. The game balance is okay. It's balanced in that anything can happen to any player at any time, but when something big does happen, like you eliminate the other player in a 2-player game, that round suddenly ends and it doesn't feel balanced. Love Letter is light on skill and heavy on luck. What it does do well is player-to-player balance. This is good design for if a mix of adults and children are playing together. Anyone can win. I give the game balance 2.5 love letters. My analysis of gameplay is mixed. The character effects are disruptive and somewhat exciting. They can really change the trajectory of a round, especially if there are 2 players and the character card played knocks out your opponent. The problem with this is that players only have 2 cards to choose from, and the effect ends up being that luck plays a big role in the outcome of the game. The end game is also problematic. Here's where the gameplay really falls apart, almost as if the end game was entirely an afterthought. The game ends when you have earned enough favor tokens. I have several issues with this. First, the round that determines the outcome of the game is no different than any other round. This type of dynamic feels flat. Secondly, because luck plays such a big role in the outcome of a round, it also plays a big outcome in the game. Again, anticlimactic. Third, the round could end because cards run out and a winner is pronounced through default, not through gameplay, which again is really, really anticlimactic. Lastly, multiple players can win a round and hence win the game, resulting in a medieval throuple that is not addressed in the game design anywhere. I give the end game 2 love letters because I am so underwhelmed. My final analysis of Love Letter is meh. The characters are fun, there's not a lot of strategy, the end game is poorly designed. So after my thorough analysis, I give the game 2.8 out of 5 love letters, an average score for an average game.